Have you ever played a game you've owned that felt weird, abnormal even, and then when you would play it at a friend's house, it was slightly off? It was almost as if that copy of the game was personal in a way. This is the story of that same game.
It's me, Mario!
We are all familiar with the game Super Mario 64. It's a fun, happy game with nothing weird or creepy about it. Well, maybe except for that piano. But what if I told you that there was more to the game than what it is? It has been told that Super Mario 64 uses an experimental AI, one that slightly changes the way the game is for each new player, appealing to that person's subconscious. In a way, every copy of the game is personalized for each new player.
But surely people have found this out already. I mean, the game came out in '97. It's taken people, what, 23 years to find out that this game had weird commodities like that? Well, the thing is that these weird, abnormal things about the game weren't in the official release of Mario 64.
The 1955 build of Super Mario 64 is something people should never look up, never look into. If you go too deep, let's just say it ain't a happy ending at your local massage parlor. It's stated that in this build, if you go to the hallway of Dire Dire Docks, there is a chance that you will run into a Wario Head, solely forming above the second Bowser stage. If you see this, turn off your game, surround yourself in a circle of salt, and burn the cartridge. One person decided not to do that, and we got this footage because of it. The Wario Head forms and says something very unsettling. He then chases Mario down what seems to be an endless hallway, accompanied by the endless stairway music. Sadly, Mario isn't fast enough to escape the grasp of this Wario Head.
It's not really well known what happens when the Wario Head catches you, but that's just one copy of the game. If every game is personalized, doesn't mean that each copy is different for each person.
Every copy of the 1955 build is different, it's personalized. Due to this advanced AI, it's very hard to capture proper footage of the build. Most modern solutions simply just don't recognize the game as a game, and it will just simply not be read by a capture card. And if it is read, it will just be a blank screen. The only way that has been proven to work is to record on a VCR to a blank VHS or DVD. Even then, you get some weird artifacts that aren't seen when playing the game. But everybody's documentation on this phenomenon is very different, from glitchy builds to even Luigi being in the game. The Luigi footages I've found all vary from him being unlocked or him being playable in Big Boo's haunt. It makes sense if you think about it. Luigi was once playable in Mario 64 according to Miyamoto, where they had a build of the game with multiplayer where Mario and Luigi were running around the castle grounds at the same time. Were these builds a part of something bigger, where the advanced AI became more self-aware and refused to let Luigi live? Or was it the game refusing to let him die?
I mean, it's all speculation. The 1995 build was never really talked about by Nintendo. But I think I have answers. I think I know what this is and really why this is all happening. But before I talk about that, I want to talk about the iceberg.
This image was uploaded to an unknown form, and it shows the conspiracies of the game, from surface level to the depths. On top, it's harmless stuff. L is real, impossible coin / Goomba, half press A. But the more you go down, the more disturbing each conspiracy gets. Unused Boo texts don't become his lunch, Yoshi committing suicide, Toads are literally trapped inside the walls of the castle. And at the bottom, it says that every copy of Mario 64 is personalized. It's clear that everyone experiences the surface level, but for the deep divers, it's hard to say what you can really see. Something that is very vague is the 1955 July 29th build. Do not research. That build of the game is the one with the Wario apparition, where the head follows you. That is what kickstarted this whole thing, and that's what made people come out with their own experiences.
But with everybody's different quirks of their game and all the experiences, I think I have an explanation for what's happening. You see, Super Mario 64 is personalized, every copy of it. It's just one big creepypasta! That's all it is! It's a scary story on the internet to get kids to cry and piss their pants. Really, why do we entertain this thought more than what it is? What's the I don't get it! Why do people believe in this? Oh, my head hurts!
If it isn't obvious, the whole thing is fake. Let me break it down for you. For one, most of the gameplay footage you see online do this whole messed up VHS gimmick found with things like lost TV episodes. Unlike those creepypastas, you actually get to see some gameplay, and for the time, this was not possible in an N64. Look at Wario's head, it's too high poly. Not to mention, the way Mario moves is just slightly off. This is an animation recorded with a camcorder, and while I can say it's impressive, it doesn't even come close to these other examples I found. Just the right amount of creepiness. When looking through these, I I found some things that looked pretty legit and even got a jump out of me. It seems like a fun thing to get into, and really, all they're using is subtle filmmaking tricks. Notice how the abnormal tendencies with the game are rarely shown for more than 3 seconds. That's because any longer would mean people see that it's all fake. They all also end abruptly, as if the recording just stopped on its own. That's probably the biggest giveaway for me, as if it's a game or not, the minute you let your creepypasta not feel grounded is the minute it becomes unbelievable.
But what makes this creepypasta a little bit more interesting and fascinating is that we might know where it actually comes from, what inspired it.
So remember how Mario had a floating head for Mario Teaches Typing? Well, believe it or not, there was also a Wario one made for Nintendo's E3 showcase in 1996. It introduced Nintendo's presentation and has Wario saying some things that can be creepy if taken out of context.
You want fun? Wario show you fun.
But notice how the Wario Head is in the same position as the apparition, right above the second Bowser level. Even the model in the apparition looks the same to this E3 presentation, and if it's not the same thing, it's very similar. I mean, it takes a really creative mind to turn this into something like this. It's also easy to question every creepypasta's validity, but in the end, I think they're all harmless. I'm not a fan of these types of stories, but this one I found was generally interesting. It's cool to see a bunch of people use what they know just to keep a story alive. Imagine if other communities focused on keeping their stories alive. You might be seeing creations that follow in suit of Dead Bart and Squidward's suicide.
But then why talk about it? Why add fuel to the fire? I don't know. I mean, I just wanted to talk about it. I thought it was really interesting and fascinating how people took this meme or creepypasta and kept going with it. It's really interesting to see what people create, and I think it breathes life into an old game that I already love and hold dear to my heart. It's just interesting, and I wanted to talk about it because it's outside of my comfort zone. I think it would be a nice topic. But until then, this will always just be a story that's getting children to be a little bit scared.
It's me, Mario. Hello. It's me, Mario. Hello. Thank you so much for playing my game.